swaggering Oscar buzz, I really am. Oh, hello! A great show tonight. Bruce Springsteen will be making his first ever appearance on a UK talk show. Every time I come here, every time you two. We've also got a great guest like Sienna here, and there's Paul Rudd over here. How are you doing, Paul Rudd?
Hello, Graham. How are you?
I'm very well.
This is for you. It's from Mr. De Niro right over there.
Thank you very much. Wine, guest, that's all I wanted. Roll titles. We really have a great show for you tonight. I couldn't be more excited if I'd caught Rebecca Vardy leaking stories about me in the papers. Good, isn't it? It's good. Everybody talking. The row between football wags Colleen Rooney and Rebecca Vardy. Yeah, Colleen was very worried she might have a mole in her inner circle. Ow. So she said... Look out for the hairy ones. So she set an Instagram trap and claims to have solved the mystery. The press have dubbed Colleen Wagatha Christie, which is good, isn't it? Wagatha Christie. Some have likened her to Miss Marple, which, you know, not very flattering to Colleen, but probably a bit of a turn-on for Wayne. Topical comedy. Hey, bit of a light relief, though. Bit of a distraction from Brexit, thanks, Colleen. Boris continues to struggle with Brexit morning, noon, night. Everything's going so well, but Brexit has not been Boris's only problem this week. There she is, Jennifer Akuri, the businesswoman and amateur pole dancer that Boris had a close relationship with while he was the mayor of London. Now, apparently they initially bonded over a shared love of Shakespeare. Aww. In fact, on Boris's birthday, she gave him the complete works. Jennifer... I'm just reading aloud. Jennifer claims that during their friendship, Boris treated her like a queen. Aw, lied to her. It's rumoured... It is rumoured that when Boris visited Jennifer in her flat, he had to go on her pole dancing pole. Ugh. I mean, you don't want to see what that looks like, do you? All right. Ugh! My eyes! I don't see that. Let's get some guests on! Later, we'll be meeting the boss himself, the legendary Bruce Springsteen will be here! Yeah! And we'll have music from James Blunt! This comedy actor has starred in the likes of Anchorman, This Is 40, and I Love You, Man. Now he's starring alongside himself in Living With Yourself. It's Paul Rudd, everybody! That is Paul Rudd. Hello! No, come in, sit down. All right. She's gone from Layer Cake and Alfie to Oscar-worthy epics like American Sniper and Foxcatcher. Now she's taking the lead in the critically acclaimed American Woman. It's Sienna Miller! You're so glittery. Hello, showbiz. And he's a true legend of the big screen with 2 Oscars to his name. He's brought us Mean Streets, Taxi Driver, Raging Bull, Goodfellas, Casino. Now he's back with a new Scorsese classic, The Irishman. Please welcome Robert De Niro! Someone couldn't decide what to drink. Is that you?
Yes.
It's like a chemist shop.
I know.
I'll have the menu. Welcome to you all. Very nice to see you. It is weird because there is a kind of buzz in the air because, of course, Bruce Springsteen's back there somewhere. Yeah. Now, I'm right, you're proper good friends with
Yes, yes.
We've got a picture of the two of you getting the Presidential Medal of Freedom there. It does look slightly like it's a gay wedding, but... But an amazing honour, and to have it with your friend, amazing.
Yes, yes.
And now, Sienna, have you met Bruce?
Yes.
You have? Oh.
Once.
Okay.
Yes. I went to see he had the show on Broadway, so I went and we went backstage and I met him.
Of course you did.
Yeah.
Now, Paul, this is a big thing. It's 25 years since Friends. And we sort of forget that Friends was kind of... It was a big kind of calling card for you. It was a big deal in your life.
Well, you know, it was an incredible thing to be a part of, and the whole experience seemed a bit surreal and a bit of a blur in my memory because I was only coming on for a couple of episodes. It turned into a few more.
Yeah.
But it was nearing the end of the show, and the show was a phenomenon and popular, you know.
And you were saying that the main cast obviously got very emotional towards the end.
Well, during that last episode, I was in the last episode, which made no sense to me whatsoever. But in the news, they were talking about, well, you know, now they're filming the last episode of Friends, and it was a really incredible... I was on the soundstage, and I'd see, you know, Jennifer Aniston crying and hugging Marta Kaufman, the creator, and I thought, I'm not supposed to be here. And I would, but to kind of break the ice, I would just go over and say, oh, they did it, huh? What a ride. Jokes inevitably fell flat. But...
Now, listen, we begin tonight with one of the film events of the year. Robert De Niro reunited with Martin Scorsese in The Irishman. It opens in cinemas on November the 8th and then streams on Netflix from November the 27th. It's also the gala film for the finale of the London Film Festival. So, this is your ninth
film, yes.
with Martin Scorsese. But what we forget is that Casino was nearly 25 years ago.
Yeah, it's over 20 at least.
Yeah.
We had been trying, we were working on another movie, kind of the same, a hitman, an aging hitman, blah, blah, blah. And I said, I have to look at this book that I heard about with Eric Roth a couple of years earlier when it came out for research just to see. And I read the book and I said, Marty, you got to read this because I think this is what we should really consider doing. So we made an about face and didn't do the movie we were supposed to and just worked, kind of focused on that. And that was like 12 years ago.
And this was the book, I Hear You Paint Houses.
Yes.
And this is the Irishman in question that you play,
yes.
Frank Sheeran. And that phrase, I hear you paint houses, was it commonly used as a...
I had never heard of it. It's a thing where I guess maybe in that part of the country, the underworld, I heard you paint houses or you kill people, and then I do my own carpentry work, means I clean up the mess too after that. Okay. So that's what it is.
And it's made graphically clear in the film
yes.
why you're painting houses.
Yeah.
Yeah, you paint them red. and of course, Jimmy Hoffa, who, you know, up until this point, disappeared
yes.
mysteriously.
Yeah.
Now we know how. He's played by the great Al Pacino.
Yes.
In the movie. And of course, this is a big deal. It's you, Pacino, Scorsese together. Did Al Pacino and Martin Scorsese know each other, or did you feel a responsibility, kind of like, I hope they like each other?
Yeah, they know that Marty and Al knew each other. They've had chances to almost work together. It didn't happen. So this again was a chance to
like
do
meant
that,
to be.
You know? And Marty said to me, you know, what's Al like? I said, he's a sweetheart. You're going to love him, blah, blah, blah. And it was, you know.
And they did. Most of the time. Now, the other part of the puzzle, Joe Pesci, now, he had actually properly retired. He hadn't just slowed down, he'd gone.
I guess. I don't know. He wasn't doing stuff like this. So. But I said, who knows if we'll have a chance to ever do this again? We won't. So this is it. So come on, let's try and do it.
And was it as quick as that, or did it take many calls?
No, it was up and talking, and I'll meet you, and this and that, and finally. But, yeah, he loves Marty, and I think he loves me, and so he said, let me do it.
Listen, we've got a clip. This features all three of you. And it uses a special technique. We'll talk about this in a moment. But right now, here is De Niro, Pesci, and Pacino in The Irishman.
Let me put McGee on the phone.
Hello? Hi, my friend. How are you? Listen, I got that kid I was talking to you about here. I'm gonna put him on the phone and let you talk to him, okay?
Hello?
Is that Frank?
Yes.
Hi, Frank. This is Jimmy Hoffa.
Yeah.
Glad to meet you.
Well, glad to meet you, too, even if it's over the phone. I heard you paint houses.
Yes, sir, I do. And I also do my own carpentry.
Oh, I'm glad to hear that. I understand you're a brother of mine.
Yes, sir. Local 107 since 1947.
Yeah. You know, our friend speaks very highly of you.
Well, thank you.
He's not an easy man to please.
Well, I do my best.
And it's quite subtle in that scene, but they developed this technology, I think Martin Scorsese calls it youthification.
Okay.
A technical term. And I mean, there it's very mild, but in some of the scenes, there's some flashbacks where you go back to, I guess, in your 20s.
Yeah.
How complicated is it as an actor? Do you have a green bag on your head? What happens?
No, there's nothing, you know, a couple of almost imperceptible dots, some sort of illuminated sort of little dots here pinned on. Nothing really. It was Marty wanted to make sure that we didn't have those as distractions, and they were very good about it. It took a lot of work from them, but we had all kinds of cameras around, and after we'd finished, there was like a little R2-D2 type thing that they'd pull out there, and then they'd take more pictures, and they had to probably cover us as much as they could in every way, digitally, to recreate or make us look younger when needed.
Obviously, that's the faces, but as an actor, you know, we move differently at different ages. How did you cope with that? Did you look at old footage of yourself?
No. I mean, that was their problem. We just did what we did.
That was Martin's big idea, yeah.
What was it like when you saw The Irishman and you saw yourself younger? Was it a strange feeling? Was it...
No, it was... I guess I was just so... I was watching it in stages and so on, and I was used to it. It wasn't... no, it didn't... No, I just hope it works. That's all. And I couldn't be objective. And I'm saying I have little vanity things about, oh, I look like this, and I said, I'd tell the editor of film, I'd say, you know, but that's my vanity. So let's you tell me, because I don't want to. But no, I mean, I just hope it works as well as it works. That's all, you know.
I think it looks amazing.
Yeah,
I saw it.
No, it really does work. I mean, you don't think about it.
Yeah.
You know, the first time it happens, you kind of go, oh, but then you really don't think about it. Yeah. Talking of transformative performances, Sienna Miller, the last thing you did on telly, The Loudest Voice, about the Fox News scandal with Roger Ailes, you played the wife, Beth Ailes. This is, like, that's unbelievable. That is you.
Yep.
And apparently that was so good, you were able to, like, go out and about.
I did take her out for walks, yeah. I did.
Actually, now I'm just looking at you and looking at that, it's even more, like, is it obviously those are your eyes.
They're my eyes, yeah.
Is anything else you?
My mouth, I think, is pretty... It was about a 4-hour gluing of rubber.
Wow.
Yeah.
And where would you take her?
I took her out for walks. I would walk around. I took her out to a bar. And I actually walked down the street with my quite young-looking boyfriend and made him kiss me passionately in front of a crowd of tourists who were honestly horrified by this young boy kissing his nana.
All of it.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Hey, now, Sienna Miller, you bring us another great movie tonight, American Woman. It's in cinemas and digital HD from the 11th of October. And it's exciting, because this is your movie. I mean, it really... And I heard you in an interview saying that actually, you know, you've played lead roles before, but you've never played the role.
Yeah, I haven't. It occurred to me as I was filming that I'd never been on my own. I mean, there was an amazing supporting cast, but I was in every scene and there wasn't a man to lean on. So it was that first experience, yeah.
And so tell us, who is American Woman? What happens to her?
She is called Deb. She is a 32-year-old mother of a 16-year-old who has a 2-year-old. So she's a 32-year-old grandma. And her 16-year-old daughter goes missing, and she is left to raise her grandson and really emerge into the woman that she could be. It's not a thriller, it's sort of what's left behind. And it's the kind of woman that I think people don't really look at. She's not really seen, but it's just life unfolding in the aftermath of something very
that life goes on.
Yeah, and life goes on, and there's this resilience to human nature and the human spirit that means you somehow continue in the wake of something dreadful.
And your character spans, what, about 11, 12 years in this film?
Yeah, 11 years, yes.
But you didn't use any youthification or ageification?
We didn't have the money. I would have loved it. It was an indie... No, we didn't use any youthification. I'd love constant youthification. It sounds fantastic. We sort of changed my hair.
Hair is so useful.
Hair, again.
You should try hair, Robert. That's what I'm hearing. Yeah. Listen, let's have a look at a clip from your movie. This is the beginning of the search for your missing daughter.
It's been, it's been 3 days since we last saw Bridget. She left home around 7. She was wearing a pink sweatshirt and white sneakers. She had her hair colored a few days ago, so it's a little lighter now, a little more blonde. But not much. This is a mother's worst nightmare. To know that your daughter's out there somewhere and that she's calling for you, you can't get to her. I'm sorry. I miss my daughter.
I wonder, does it help or does it hinder having like a real baby that isn't acting?
He was doing the greatest. I think he was really concerned in that moment.
No, because he's really looking at you like,
really
she's so upset. What did I do?
We'd bonded before, but he was, yeah, totally stealing the scene there.
Now, someone you've worked with a number of times, and a very good friend of yours, Bradley Cooper.
Yes.
And now, Robert De Niro, you mentored Bradley Cooper, is that right? From before we sort of knew him.
Well, I did a movie called Limitless with Bradley about, I guess it's 10 years, 11 maybe. And I liked Bradley a lot. We became friends. And then we started doing other stuff together. I was very happy when he was cast in Silver Linings Playbook, and that strengthened our relationship. And I trusted him. I trust him. He's smart, and he really cares. You could see, even in the movies that he didn't direct, he was very Silver Linings and the other films. He was constantly there in the editing room, making sure, putting his 2 cents in, and I think it was a big help. So I knew that he really wanted to.
Yeah.
You just tell with people, you take a chance. I'd rather take a chance with somebody who doesn't have so much experience, say a writer or write something, if I get a good feeling from them and we talk about it, than somebody who's had a bit of a track record and you've kind of seen what they've done and you're not sure that they're going to go anywhere much differently, and the stuff that they did do was okay, but not great. The only thing is that the material that this time might be the one that'll be very exceptional. That's always very possible, but anyway.
And is that the sort of actor you are? Are you in the edit, watching things, making sure everything's the way you wanted it to be, or do you walk away?
No, I stay. I'm only in when I'm called, if I'm asked. I don't want to get in. I mean, not that I'd be in the way, and if I have something to say, I'll be there, watch it, this and that. Certain technical things with The Irishman, with the Thelma Schoonmaker, the editor, we'd look at stuff of my character or other things I'd say, but I'm always very lightly out of it.
Yeah. And talking about encouraging young talent, Leonardo DiCaprio, you were one of the first people to work with him. How old was he in This American Boy?
God,
This Boy's Life, rather?
Maybe, was he about 14 or 13 or 14?
Young. Like,
He was
young.
Yeah.
So it must be amazing to see, you know, to watch his career.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Leo was also, we had a reading of the movie, and Leo wasn't reading the lead, it was another kid, and at the end of it I said, this kid is interesting, you know, you should, you know, pay more attention to him. And I don't know whether that, my saying that had anything to do with it, but...
You know it did. Anointed by Robert De Niro. Other kids, who knows where they are now. And someone else, though, had a huge influence on Leonardo DiCaprio's career. I turned to Paul Rudd. No, you did, though. You properly did.
I don't know. I don't think I had an influence, but sometimes, looking back, you find yourself in some interesting conversations and moments in time. And I worked with Leonardo on Romeo and Juliet. And at the time, my father made his living. He was a Titanic expert. And he used to take people all over the world talking about Titanic. He could go to universities and...
Yeah.
And it was my last day of filming on Romeo and Juliet, and we all went out to a bar afterward. All the guys, we were all a bunch of guys working on the movie, and so we were in different cars. And I was riding to the place with Leo, and he said, "I just got offered this movie, but it's a big movie." And he had done indie films to that point. He said, "It's a studio movie. It's Titanic." And I said, "That's incredible." And I knew a lot about Titanic because my dad just talks about Titanic. And we just had a conversation about it. And he was saying, "I don't know what I'll do." I remember saying, "You should do it." I don't think I had any say, but it is kind of interesting to think back on that.
Yeah, there was a moment when he mightn't have done it.
Yeah, because he did it. He did do the movie.
And digital effects, they play a huge part in Paul Rudd's new show because you appear with yourself in the new TV comedy drama.
Yeah, it seems to check a few boxes. It is a comedy, but it's an existential comedy, and it is dramatic, and there are elements of science fiction. It's a bit Black Mirror-like.
Oh, good point. It's called Living With Yourself. It's on Netflix from the 18th of October. So how do you end up living with yourself? That's the key. Tell us that.
Well, I play a guy who is, we find him in his life, his marriage isn't so hot, his job isn't going very well, and he's stuck. And he talks to a coworker who recommends a spa that he went to, and ever since he went to this spa, he's been living his best life. And I go to a spa, I get a treatment, and then the treatment is not what I think because it's a cloning operation. And the original me is supposed to die, but I don't. And I come back, and now there's two of me.
Yeah, because that opening scene has a great opening scene where you discover you're not dead.
Yeah, it's really startling. I read the script, and I was just drawn into it right away. I can't believe I'm talking about acting in front of Robert De Niro. You know, my process. Yeah,
He's listening with interest.
This is like
change your hair.
I don't know how you did it on The Irishman, but it's like asking a high school science student about black holes, and he's sitting next to Stephen Hawking.
We've got the clip. This is Paul Rudd and Paul Rudd, so it's you and your clone, and you've gone back to the spa to try and resolve the situation.
We offer our sincere apologies.
Well, I'm sorry, but you know what? Somehow that seems just a little insufficient. I mean, at the minimum, the minimum, I should get a refund.
Sorry, no refunds. Corporate policy.
Hey, are you gonna add anything to this, huh? Or are you just gonna sit there?
This isn't real, right? I mean, this is some kind of trick. No.
So, who's the clone?
You.
All right, little detail you might have noticed. There's two of us, but there is one home, there's one car, one life. So, what do you suggest we do?
쟤네가 맞아. 그냥 환불해주자.
환불해주면 그래도 두 명이잖아. 뭐?
너 미쳤어?
가만히 있어봐. 쪽팔리게 하지 말고. Okay, here's what we can do. 10% discount.
That's it?
No, there's more. 20% if you refer a new customer.
Very good. Now, Robert De Niro, I meant to ask you earlier about working with Martin Scorsese. Have you analysed why you two guys gel so well? Why you produce this extraordinary work?
I'm just very lucky that Marty is the kind of person who genuinely if you give him an idea, he'll say, yeah, let's try that, let's try it. Okay, at worst, it won't work, or he'll cut it out. And he's just that way with me, and he's this way with other people, too. So I'm just lucky that we've done these projects together over the years, and we have a special relationship.
Yeah. And are the stories about Martin Scorsese using his mother true? That he would have her on set cooking real Italian food?
Yeah, Katie, she would do that, as I remember, and she made great pizza. I remember when I opened the Tribeca Grill, I was seriously considering, if she would even want to do it, of getting her recipe for the pizza that she made. It was so simple, it was just great.
I think we've got a picture of her on set. She's actually in the movie. So this is his mom.
Yeah.
And then she really cooked the food.
Yeah.
And then, is it Goodfellas where they had the real kind of gangsters on set?
Well, there were people around who, you know...
Stole cameras.
You know, the same with Casino and stuff. That's, you know, that's part of it.
And does that help, or does it make you a bit nervous?
No, everybody, you know, people like to be in movies and part of them. And the guys in that world, as much, if not more, than most people.
Yeah. And you talk about that world. What is it about movies in that world? Because almost since they started making movies, they've been telling stories about gangsters and the mafia and mobsters. And now here we are in 2019, and this is still a big deal. What is the appeal of those characters?
I don't know. I guess it's because they defy the law in some way, and they have their own laws, their own... There's more of an honor, like especially in The Godfather, I think, especially at that time in the late 60s, The Godfather with the government and everything, the Vietnam War. I think that the idea that this culture had more, there was more respect and more structure and more right and wrong than we were seeing in the war and with our leaders, and not being told the truth about what was really going on. And I think, so that's why it was a part of its appeal.
Yeah.
Today we have a kind of a weird, twisted president who thinks he's a gangster, who's not even a good gangster, because this is a guy that, you know, even gangsters, like Honor Among Thieves, you shake a hand, you have your word. That's all you have.
Yeah.
Is your word, and they have your word, and that's it. This guy is not the case.
No. I didn't even bring him up, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, it's time to meet our next guest. This man is quite simply a rock legend with 20 Grammys, an Oscar and a Tony and 2 Golden Globes. They don't call him the boss for nothing. Please welcome Mr. Bruce Springsteen.
Bradley says to say hi.
And to you.
Hey, Paul. How are you? Good, good.
Hey! Bruce Springsteen. Sit. We were talking about seeing your show on Broadway earlier, and I'd never seen you perform live before.
Right.
So when you came out and the audience started doing that, the boo boo, I thought, what's he done? Why did he?
You can tell the difference between Bruce and booing. I've heard.
It's very close. So you know everyone on the couch.
Yeah, well, we've just briefly met.
Yeah.
Actually, Paul I've known a little bit, but Bobby I've known for since 1975.
Wow, that's a long time.
Yeah, I love Bobby.
Very nice. Yeah, we all do. Now, Bruce Springsteen brings us a film, Western Stars. It's in cinemas from the 28th of October, and Western Stars songs from the film is available on CD, vinyl, and digital from the 25th. You can pre-order that now. So this film, I mean, on the face of it, it's a concert film.
Yes.
But it is more than that. How do you describe it to people?
It's a concert film of me playing my last record start to finish, but there's all these little interstitial pieces of me, it's a meditation on men and women and love.
And when did you decide that the concert, the songs would benefit from having these other kind of... Oh, they're very cinematic, the little...
Yeah, the pieces in between, yeah. I knew I wasn't going to tour, so I figured I had to think of something, you know. So, and we shot the performance stuff, and then... But it was all new music, so, you know, how do you get people to listen to what you've just recently done when you've been at it for 40 or 45 years or so? That's always a charm. And I felt I needed things to bring people into each song, and so I just sat in front of the TV one night and wrote for a couple of hours. And then the fellow who directed it, Tom Zimney, we did these voiceovers, which I scored underneath, and it's a hard thing to explain because it's not quite like any other picture that... There's not a genre for it.
No.
It was just...
But it's a beautiful thing.
Thank you.
It's a gorgeous thing.
I appreciate it.
And you say that about, you know, getting people to listen to new music. Is that why your concerts are so long? Because you've got this back catalogue, but presumably you want to play the new stuff. So it's like we're in here for hours now.
It's pure psychosis, the reason the concerts are so long, you know.
'Cause 4 hours isn't uncommon.
I do it. I don't like to. But
you could stop.
Does you know, so I shoot for 3, and sometimes we go a little bit longer, but it's just...
Is that because your wife's in the band? So you're thinking, well, there's no home to go to, because she's here anyway.
And those are the only 4 hours I actually get to be boss. So I've got to...
You don't want to do it.
I've got to do the best with them, you know.
Listen, let's have a taste of the film.
All right.
This is a little bit from the trailer. It just gives you people an idea of what to expect.
I'm stuck out as I go. I've spent 35 years trying to learn how to let go of the destructive parts of my character. Hey, I'm just traveling up the road. And I still have days when I struggle with it. Catch me now, 'cause tomorrow I'll be gone. We all have our broken pieces. Emotionally, spiritually, in this life, nobody gets away unhurt. And we're always trying to find somebody whose broken pieces fit with our broken pieces and something whole emerges. You lose track of time. It's all just storms blowing through. Like wild horses, a certain kind of magic took place. Chasing wild horses. The music began to take on a life of its own. Life's mysteries remain and deepen. Its answers unresolved. So you walk on through the dark, because that's where the next morning is.
It's a beautiful thing. I know. You are really brilliant at this. That just talking over music.
That was footage of my honeymoon, so.
Oh, which is, and you know, those clips that presumably people haven't seen those clips before.
No, we just stumbled across them while we were fiddling around looking for things for the film. So, you know, I put the camera on the car hood, and me and Patty did our little shtick.
Oh, it's adorable. And you film it all in your own barn?
Yes.
Where is the barn?
The barn is on my property in the great state of New Jersey. And you've never been there, I assume. But that's where it is, and
have you been in the barn, Robert?
I've been to the property, the barn. Was I in the barn?
Nah.
No.
But he's been to the
good
farm.
night. It was a really good night.
He's been to the farm. We've been all over the farm.
Was I in the barn? No. And that image is kind of, you know, the jeans, the T-shirt, kind of working guy image you have. It's interesting that when you were a kid, what you loved were kind of the showmen, like Elvis and Jagger and all of that.
I regret it to this day. I've never looked good dressed up. I look
but didn't you practice the moves?
I look ridiculous when I get really dressed up. You know, I always wanted the gold lame suit and But no, it never worked for me.
But you did practice like Jagger moves and stuff, didn't you?
Well, every front man worth his salt has stood in front of a mirror at some point in time with either the broom or the tennis racket and spent hours just moving to little 45s in his room. So yeah, that was a big part of my my studies.
And in terms of Elvis, is the story about Graceland true?
Me raiding Graceland, you mean?
Yeah, well, when Elvis was still alive.
It was 1975, and we were in Memphis, and Stephen and I wanted to go to an all-night diner. It was around 3 a.m. We got in a taxi. The taxi cab said, yeah, but there's one right out by Elvis's house. So, Elvis's house? You know where Elvis lives? Take us there right now. The taxi driver took us to Graceland. And I got out. I saw there was some lights on in the house, because you could see the house wasn't far up the drive. Yeah. Gates were locked, the stone wall. I looked at Steve. I said, Steve, I'm going in. and the taxi driver said, hey, man, don't go in there. They got big dogs over there. Don't go over that wall. I said, well, when's the opportunity going to come again? I jumped over the wall, ran up the drive, got to the front door. I was just about to knock on the front door, and a security guy came out of the bushes. And he said, Dad, can I help you? And very casually, like, yeah. I said, yeah, is Elvis here? You know? He said, well, Elvis is in Las Vegas. I said, okay, well, can you tell him, and I generally don't like to do this, but Bruce Springsteen was here. And he may not know who that is, but I was just on the cover of Time and Newsweek. For you young folks, they were magazines. He says, yeah, I was just, and could you tell him, yeah, I'll tell Elvis. And he came down and walked me out and let me out of the, that's as close as I ever got to Elvis Presley.
Wow. Good. And one of the things I was struck about your show on Broadway when you were talking about the songs, and because we always imagine that it's you talking in your voice, but in the show you were talking about actually it's other people's voices.
Well, if you're a songwriter, I think, and perhaps if you're an actor too, people think they associate you so much with the voice that you're speaking in that when they see you, they think you're that guy, you know? I mean, everybody sort of thinks you're the guy in the songs, perhaps with movie actors, but maybe not as much. I don't know. You know. But yeah, I actually write a lot in character, and I was a guy that wrote a lot about working people who never held a job in his life. Thank you, Jesus. I always did the dishonest work of playing the guitar, you know? Yeah. So, but my father, you know, I sort of inhabited my father's life for a variety of different reasons and wrote as deeply as I could about those subjects because I was trying to sort out, A, who he was, B, what that meant, what it meant to who I was, and what it felt like, what that life felt like in the United States, you know. So those were things that were just really, they felt dramatic and important to me from when I was very, very young, but consequently, people do completely associate you with the voice that you write in, and that's just part of the game, I guess.
Well, it's how good you are that you convince people.
Thank you very much.
And you mentioned your dad there, and you had a difficult relationship, and he was ill a lot of the time.
Yeah.
And did he ever get it? Did he ever kind of enjoy your success? Did he ever understand how good you were?
Yeah, I think so. Once the money's coming in,
I get it now.
It breeds respect, you know. So it bred some respect from him, you know, but I always remember I asked him one day, I said, what's your favorite songs? Well, the ones about me, you know. So, yeah, he connected to it a little bit in the end.
Yeah. Listen, we mentioned earlier that the two of you got your Presidential Medal of Freedom together. Which...
We got that, and we also got like the Kennedy Center honors together. Yeah. We happened to be together for both those occasions.
And now you're here. I mean, it's just the triple whammy, isn't it? We did the Graham Norton show. But it was a big year, 2016. It wasn't just the two of you getting those medals. It was a very starry year. And it was also the year, it was kind of the peak of the mannequin challenge. Do you remember the mannequin challenge where people would strike a pose and da-da-da? And somebody did the mannequin challenge with all of you in a room. I don't know if you remember this. We've got the footage here. It's lots of really famous people. There's Diana Ross, and they're all doing it. I think that's where are we? There's Bill Gates. That's you. Look, oh, Bruce is doing it very well, pointing the finger, very good. Ellen DeGeneres, Tom Hanks, Rita Wilson's here somewhere. There's Rita Wilson. But where is the world's greatest living actor? He'll be brilliant at doing the mannequin challenge, I'm sure. So bad. Listen, it's time for music. In 2004, this man's breakout single, You're Beautiful, went straight to #1, and since then he's sold over 20 million albums worldwide. Here performing Cold from his new album, Once Upon a Mind, it is James Blunt!
It's been lonely, trying to get your attention from 1,000 miles away. Always overthinking the worst possibilities. Yeah, we both know in between you and me there's an ocean, cast away in a sea and it's frozen. I'm exposed, can't you see? All I need is a little warmth. Without your arms around me, without you on my skin, without you on my body, I'm sorry. I don't mean to be desperate or pretend that I'm not torn, but I don't want to let go of the things that keep me warm. Without you, I'm just cold. I built a little boat with a sail from the memories I've been collecting. For the wind to blow me, take me home the whole way in your direction. Yeah, we both know in between you and me there's an ocean, and I'm just trying to get a little closer. Pull me in, 'cause I'm here, all I need is a little warmth. Without your arms around me, without you on my skin, without you on my body, I'm sorry. I don't mean to be desperate or pretend that I'm not torn, but I don't want to let go of the things that keep me warm. Without you, I'm just Without you, I'm just so light me up, I'm burning with all these things I feel, and I'll always hold this flame for you, but it's naked on the breeze. So let me in, don't lock me out, don't cast me out to sea. Your arms around me, without you on my skin, without you on my body, I'm sorry. I don't mean to be desperate or pretend that I'm not torn, but I don't want to let go of the things that keep me warm. Without you, I'm just Without you, I'm just Without you, I'm just
James Blunt, everybody! How good was that? The band, the singers, come on over, James. Well done, thank you so much for that.
Thank you so much.
Come on. Paul Rudd, James Blunt, David Miller, Robert De Niro, Bruce Springsteen.
Sir, how do you do? Sir, lovely to meet you. Thank you so much. Please do.
Good on, do. Thank you very much. I mean, Bruce Springsteen's here. We'll just, yes.
Yeah, I have a dry mouth, actually.
Steady yourself, steady yourself. That is from the album Once Upon a Mind, which is out on the 25th of October. And now, that song, Cold, is it a sequel? Is it a response to You're Beautiful? What's the story there?
Not entirely. Actually, it's a song for my wife, because I'm on tour for so long that really I need to tell her how guilty I feel and how sorry I am while I leave her with children. But the video is the next stage from You're Beautiful. 14 and a half years ago, I threw myself off a cliff, took my clothes off, looked pretty buff. And 14 and a half years later, the video we've taken out, and I make my way to shore, and I'm coming out and I'm wearing the same clothes for this one. And weirdly, I've had those clothes hanging up in a cupboard for 14 and a half years, ready and waiting for this video. Wow. I'm not so buff, I'm sucking in through the video.
Maybe we recommend youthification. It's all the rage. Here is the album. Actually, is that you?
That is, yeah.
You're still looking quite buff.
That I am sucking in.
Oh, OK. Difficult angle, but well done. Very good. Once Upon a Mind, there it is. And the tour, you've got a tour?
Yeah, I start on Valentine's Day, which will go down well at home with the wife. Starting Birmingham, around the UK, in some arenas, and then into Europe and around the rest of the world.
And Royal Albert Hall on the 7th of April.
Exactly.
Yeah. And do you still do the crowd surfing?
I do. I mean, my music, as you could tell, is not considered especially rock and roll. But to make up for that, I crowd surf. and not always very successfully. So the first time, I haven't seen anyone crowd surf. For the first time, I was in Barcelona. I ran, I jumped, the crowd parted. Like the Red Sea and Moses, and I hit the deck. My friends were there thinking, what an idiot. The second time I did it in Asheville, North Carolina, I broke my finger. It is...
really did?
And I fought my way back onto the stage, hit the piano, hit the wrong note, realised my finger was pointing the wrong way. My guitar technician handed me a guitar, and I said, I think I've broken my finger. And he said, he's Glaswegian, oh, you've got 9 others. The stories go on. Chicago. I jumped off a 12-foot stage, and I hit the deck. I'm running towards the crowd, and the security guard didn't realise who this little man was and smacked me down to the deck. I was shouting, but I'm the singer! I'm the singer! Other security guards had to peel him off, and the band laughed. And my worst moment was I was playing Glastonbury, the main stage, the pyramid stage. I'll say there are 80,000 people in the audience for the sake of the story. And for a moment there, I got out and I jumped down and I crowd surfed, and for a moment, I was the rock star that I've always wanted to be. And I worked my way back to the stage, and I realised the stage was too high for me to climb up onto. And I looked up onto the stage, and there was a stranger there. I looked at him and I said, you know, help me. And I realised he was the BBC TV cameraman. And I was looking down the barrel of the lens, saying to the nation, help me. And I secured my place as the least cool musician in rock and roll history.
Have you crowd surfed?
Yeah. I have crowd surfed. The trick is they are supposed to catch.
Listen, James Blunt, thank you very much for that performance. Good luck with the album, good luck with the tour. James Blunt, everybody! That is all we've got time for. Sadly, no time for red chairs tonight. So oh, shut up. So do place a huge thank you to all of my guests. Mr. James Blunt! Paul Rudd! Sienna Miller! Robert De Niro! And Mr. Bruce Springsteen! Boo! 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 If I misunderstood this, boo! Join me next week with music from DJ Spoonie's Garage Classical, TV chef Nadia Hussein, pop icon Debbie Harry, and Terminator stars Linda Hamilton and Arnold Schwarzenegger. I'll see you then. Good night, everybody. Bye-bye!
Press
Press red now for BBC Three's RuPaul's Drag Race UK, only on BBC iPlayer. Making styles sustainable, being green is bang on trend. Check out Fashion Fix. Download the BBC Sounds app to listen now.